Our first vegetable in this series is the potato. We're going to be taking it from planting on a chilly day in March right through to harvest.
Hello.
It's a freezing March morning and we've got some seed potatoes ready to go. They're an Irish variety called Orla that do really well in our climate. Okay, Mick, what exactly have we got here? Because this looks more like a walnut than it does a potato, to be fair.
They're very strange looking, aren't they? But
Yeah.
these are perfectly chitted spuds.
They're perfectly what?
Chitted. Chitted.
Chitted.
You have to be very careful how you say that. But yeah, these have been chitting now for about for about a month. And all that means basically is that they form these little sprouts on them. If you leave your spuds in the back of down the bottom of a press or whatever at home, exact same thing starts to happen. They start to produce these little sprouts. So that's all chitting is, and it's just about creating a bit of a head start. These ones I'd consider kind of perfect length. These ones, the stalks are gone a little bit too long. And what will happen is when we put these into the ground and put a load of soil in on top of them, there's a high chance that the soil is going to break those, which will put the plant under stress and set it back. So
no stress buds.
No stress buds. So these are okay to use, but you'd need to be really, really careful when you're putting them into the soil. Each one of them is going to turn into a stalk that'll come out of the ground and will produce loads of spuds. Or what you can also do is break off all of the chitted sprouts that you've produced and just leave one on it. And the decision is basically between lots of small potatoes or a much smaller number of big potatoes. But basically I usually take it back to one and then plant it into the soil. We've just finished filling and patting down our raised beds in the Grow Cook Eat garden with a compost topsoil mix. Soil fertility is so important, but there's lots to get through, so we're going to be talking about that later in the series. So let's get these potatoes in the ground. You need to stay a little bit away from the side of the bed, so we're going to start, I'm going to do my row here, like that. And then you do your row starting around there, yeah? Your rows are 45 centimetres apart. And then within the row, your spuds are about 25 centimetres, which I just happen to know is about the length of this trowel. Okay? Cool. So again, staying away from the side of the thing a little bit, 25 centimetres apart, and the same all the way out. And we need to go down now 15 centimetres, right? So you can see it's about the length of your hand, yeah? Pull the soil back towards you and pop the spud down in, and then firm back over like that, yeah?
Bye-bye, Spuddy.
You want to try and cover this over though, because it's frost sensitive, so a frost will kill that off. All right, come on, let's go.
Come on,
finish these out.
I'll race you.
Very good.
There,
Job done.
it's done.
Potatoes planted.
Hurrah!
Deliciousness on its way.
Bring on the spuds.
So quick check-in on the spuds, which are looking really, really healthy, and we were kind of a little bit worried about blight last time we were here. Hasn't kind of turned into anything too much at this stage, which we're really, really happy about. Blight is traveling around and it's just a feature of growing, so don't stress about it. And these should be good to go in a couple of weeks' time, which is really good.
Sorry, Mick. Just 1 week later, things are much worse.
So the blight has kind of moved on. It was just a little couple of patches on the leaves, but now it's like full-on blight. And this is where you need to kind of take action now and make a decision on them.
So, like, did we do something wrong? Did we choose the wrong variety? What?
No, I mean, blight is just a factor of growing in Ireland, and you know, the whole famine history and all that. Like, it's just a thing with our climate. We have wet, warm summers, and blight just absolutely thrives at particular years. So they usually get it. And actually, the variety we chose, which is Orla for these spuds, it's a blight-resistant variety. It doesn't kind of look like it, but actually, the variety we chose bought us a couple of weeks. So it kind of fights off the blight. Eventually, it succumbs to it, I suppose. But what we need to do now is protect the spuds themselves, because what will happen next, it takes over the leaves and then moves its way down the stalk into the potatoes themselves. Literally, the plan is just to cut the stalks down at the base of the plant, so right down at the soil. So we're just going to take the plants away, but actually leave the spuds in the soil. And what will happen then is that the spuds they'll stop growing now, because there's not going to be any photosynthesis to get them growing. But it protects them, and also by leaving them in the soil for another couple of weeks, maybe 2 to 3 weeks, the skins will continue to kind of toughen up.
Okay.
So that we can actually store these spuds as well.
If you do have plants affected by blight, get rid of them right away, but don't put them on your compost heap. Good.
All right. It's 20 weeks since we planted the potatoes, and it's finally time to see if we've managed to salvage our crop after that unlucky bout of blight.
It might be August, but it feels like Christmas. It is time to harvest the spuds.
I know, and do you know what I love about this is, right? So you kind of never really know what you're going to get with spuds. So you know we had our few problems along the way this time. We had a bit of blight. We cut back the spuds, which is, the plants, which is exactly what you should do to keep the whole thing on track. And now we get to harvest them. And I always talk about it like Christmas morning because you just never know what you're going to get. They could be absolutely rubbish.
Dude, open the
Okay, come
presents.
on, let's do it.
Come on.
Let's have a look and see what we've got. These are absolutely fabulous.
I love them.
That is, I think, probably a product of the really good soil in this bed. So come here, what about your containers?
I thought you'd never ask. I'm also kind of surprised you remembered. Right, here we go.
Because you've got serious competition here now to see
I love a bit of serious,
does it compare in any way to
competition.
my amazing raised bed crop? Are there any?
There are.
No, I don't see any.
They're here.
Oh, there are.
There are. Look at them.
Okay,
I'm
so
proud.
these are a little small, it's fair to say, but actually these are beautiful salad potatoes.
They were also planted later.
So Karen, raised beds, container growing. So I have to kind of swallow my words a little bit and say, well done. You did actually manage to grow some in some sort of an outgrow bag or whatever.
I did, and I can tell you this much: you might be able to buy spuds, but you cannot buy the happiness that goes with growing with them.
Absolutely.
I love it.